Hi guys, so it is our first time to try to be a sentence surgeon all by ourselves. So out of your WIP folder, I want you to take out this sentence study wall that we got for this week. It's from the book Cloud Dance, and the sentence says, "High wispy clouds race in the autumn wind." And before we do anything else with me helping you, I want to give you the opportunity to go back to Google Classroom and try to click on the link for Cloud Dance, the read aloud, inside your *** ELA stations in week 3. That will give you the opportunity to hear the book if you'd like to. It's a really short book. It's very beautiful. I really like the imagery that's in this book, and imagery is a way that authors use very vivid details to create an image in a reader's mind. And this one has a lot of it, so I definitely recommend that to you, that you read that book. And before I go over any of these, I would love for you to stop, and I'd like you to give this a try. I want you to look at the type of sentence, try to decide what type of sentence it is. There are 4 types, and you can see at the beginning of your sentence surgeon folder that on your checklist of things you should do every time you do a mentor sentence or sentence surgeon, that you should always try to determine what kind of sentence it is. And we can always do that with the punctuation. So think to yourself, based on this punctuation and what the sentence says, what type of sentence this is. And then I'd also like you to look at each and every single one of the words and try to decide what parts of speech they all are. That's before I go over it, because I want you to see if you can do it. Then when you've done all of that, I want you to see if you can figure out the subject and the predicate. The subject is going to be usually some sort of noun inside the sentence, and the predicate is usually an action word. But the subject and the predicate are linked, so whatever the action of the sentence is, the subject is doing it. Or if there's more than one action, maybe there's only one subject and you have to, so look at the sentence. It's a pretty simple one. I think this is a good one to start out with, you guys trying to do all this by yourself. So I'm going to give you a second. You can pause this video, go back, watch the read aloud, and try to figure out the sentence by yourself. But I'm going to keep just talking as if you paused it and did what I asked you to do. So hopefully you did. Let's look at the type of sentence first. So to find out what type of sentence it is, I'm looking at the punctuation. This has a period at the end of the sentence. And we know from our list that sentences that end with a period are either going to be a declarative sentence, where it just declares something basic. It's kind of just the average sentence. Or a period could also mean that it could be an imperative sentence. In an imperative sentence, if you hear that word imp in it, remember that imperative means important, and something that's an imperative is a command. And people don't command others to do things if it's not usually important. So let's look at this again. High wispy clouds race in the autumn wind. Is it commanding anything? No. So it's not going to be an imperative sentence, and that just means that it is a basic declarative sentence. So we are going to write that up. Actually, let's write it down here. So let's write declarative. This is a declarative sentence. And now we're going to look up here at all the parts of speech that you guys came up with. So I usually like to try to look for the things that come out as very obvious to me. And if I were you guys' age, I would probably notice clouds very easily first. And I know that a cloud is a thing. It's not a person, it's not a place, but it is a thing. And a person, place, or thing is a noun. So it's a noun. But it also happens to have an S on the end. And because it has an S on the end, that means it's a plural noun. Plural noun. That means that there's more than one cloud. So plural noun. The clouds race. Okay, well, a race could be like several people trying to go against each other, or cars going against each other. Or it can just be an action. So the clouds race. So this case, it's an action. So an action is a verb. High wispy clouds race in, who knows about that one yet? If I was you guys, I would probably skip that one. The autumn wind. Okay, autumn, I usually think of as a season. Sometimes seasons can be a noun, but this is actually saying an autumn wind. So it's not saying autumn the season, it's describing the type of wind. So if it's a describing word, then it's going to be an adjective. Oops, my pencil broke. And then the word wind is a noun. It's a thing. Okay, so we're going to go back and think high wispy clouds. Wispy clouds. Okay, so wispy is describing the clouds. So we are going to use another adjective. Okay, and then high also describes the clouds. So high is also an adjective. Okay, so far we have almost all of them. We just have in and the left. Okay, so the is one of those kind of filler words that is called an article. They're very short words. There's only 3 of them on the list that are articles. It's the, a, and an. A, an, like A-N, and the. Those are all considered articles. Okay, and in is kind of placing a position on what's happening. So this is that special word that we talked about last week and we got notes on. You could probably look back on your prepositions notes and find in on your prepositions notes. So we're going to label this as a preposition. P-R-E, position. And it ran into the word article for me just a little bit, but we'll get better and better about knowing what these are, and maybe later on, after you know the word preposition, you could shorten it to pre or something. So very easily we came up with the whole sentence. Hopefully you were like celebrating the whole time. You got a lot of things right. The only things left that we have to do are figure out the subject and the predicate of the sentence. So remember that the predicate is going to be like the action within the sentence. And so if we look at that, there's only one verb in the entire sentence, and that is the word race. It says type here. Obviously, we're writing, so you can cross out where it says type here and write it with your hand. So our simple predicate is race. And what is doing the racing? It's this noun, which is clouds. So the clouds race. So the subject is clouds, and what they're doing, the action they're doing, is race. All right, guys, I hope you had a really fun time doing our sentence surgeon of the week. Way to go!